results later on. So it is the final session of the day on Thursday, June 11th. It's 2:45 in the afternoon. We are covering the European Handgun Championships, EHC, coming to you from Hungary. Where we are with 1,700 of our closest friends, hanging out, enjoying the weather, and 24 amazing stages. I've asked a number of people what they thought of the stage at the match, and it seems to be that everyone is super happy with everything. Thank you to those of you who are sending me messages from home and from various places. We appreciate you. I'm sorry I don't get straight back to you. It's a little hectic here in the control room. We did a feature this morning early where we had JJ Rakaza from the United States check in and do a live kind of interview with us. It was somewhat successful. We need to work on that a little bit more. We're obviously a very small team here on the broadcast, but we're going to be doing some more of those things in the future and bringing you some interviews from other people as well on the range. If you are on the range, please, will you share with your friends? Share our feed, share our links, share what we're doing. If you do that and you bring your phone to our control room, which is right next to the stats office, just behind the stats office, come and visit us. We'd love to see you. We can't talk while we're broadcasting, but feel free to come on in and Sarah will help you out with a towel. If you want one of our custom-made towels for the EHC, we'd love to see you here. Okay, we're at stage 17. Working our way through the match. So you guys can see we're in walkthroughs right now on most of the stages that we're watching. Up, let's have a look at stage 5. There we go. All right, so we have a surprise for you guys. We're always working on new technology and new things, being able to do it. So we have set it up now that I am able to talk to somebody on the range from the control booth. And our first time doing this with someone is with a special guest, Nikita Trishka. Nikita, thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir.
It's good to have you. Hold on one second while they finish shooting that stage, because there's another mic that is on that stage that is loud. And that's going to drown us out.
Let's move further away from the loud sounds. This one needs to be off. having troubles right now hearing you. Yeah.
I wonder if it's
One of the mics is on. Stage 17.
All right, so we're going to try again with this and see if we can get this right. Okay, let's put Nikita in the shot for us. And
We're gonna do interview with Nikita. That's what you want, Nikki? Interview with Nikita.
all right, well, that didn't work out. That's okay. We'll do this again. We had a hot mic somewhere, and that was covering up Nikita, and I didn't want to try and interview him while we had something with gunshots in the background. The sound side, the sound aspect of this whole streaming thing is incredibly complicated because we have microphones all over the range, and while we can monitor each of them independently, when we're mixing cameras and sounds, and then we bring in a interview, it introduces kind of like a sync issue. I'm trying not to get too technical here, but anyway, that didn't work. We will do it again, and I'll figure it out. We will figure it out. how to bring that to you guys. You must also remember, like if this is a normal sports broadcast, they wouldn't be jumping back and forth between mics. They keep all their mics pretty much on or just muted. In our case, I've got to change the levels all the time because they come in at different levels. So you can see now I'm bringing up one of the mics. There's that one there. And that allows you guys to hear gunshots and not hear quiet, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the same camera that you're looking at. Cameras are often in places long ways away, especially if we're running remote cameras. You don't realize how far away they are. I'll give you an example. If you look at this camera here, that camera has a 60 power zoom on it, and if I had a mic, which I don't have on that, and I presume that camera all the way down to that end of the range down there, that camera is looking 200 yards down the range. Actually, the tank folio sign in the foreground is throwing off the zoom. If I do that, well, if I had a microphone, oh, you know what that is? That is, I think that's stage 13 down there. That's stage 13, isn't it?
19.
It's stage 19. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Anyway, so just so you understand, the cameras are not always where the microphones are, and when we have people and we're trying to bring in different cameras, that makes that very complicated. Some of the cameras are also on the same frequency as others because we only have a limited number of those. I think we have 7 or 8 frequencies that we can use. All right, so enough of the technical stuff. Let's see, they were in walkthroughs a second ago. Nikita had to go and get ready for his walkthrough, so we lost him, but we'll get him back. I can show you stage 1. I know you guys got bored with watching stage 1, but it's a stage that runs a little longer than the others, and so therefore it stays live longer. And now everybody's starting to shoot. There's stage 1, stage 4. Let's drop to stage 1 again. You guys can finish that. Oh, you see his hand, his right hand there was a little bit over towards his arm, almost touching his other arm. That would be a problem on this stage. Okay, we're going to come to the drone next. All right, there's our drone shot. Our drone shot's actually where we're operating this afternoon, down on zone 3, that is. See, just like that, one of the mics went very hot, but I caught it just in time, so it didn't hurt you guys.
That's really amazing.
Where are we going?
Oh, which stage?
You're looking at stage 15 right now. That is Mr. Isaac from the United States.
All right, guys. Nikita online. Carlos Javier on deck and in the hole. Jesus.
And that is not the correct stage. What you're hearing the RO speak now is
Hold and
a
make
second
ready.
language. I'm going to try and cover both of these.
Are you ready? Stand by. Finish. Unload the show clear. It's clear. Hammer down. Hold.
That was a very nice run.
Range is clear. Your time 2019.
2019. Alpha Charlie. Alpha Charlie to Alpha. Alpha. To Alpha. Alpha Charlie. Complete.
Sounds like 3 Charlies down on that stage. He had a time of 20.19 seconds. Very nice run by Nikita. He's on
Carlos Javier on deck, on line. Jesus. On deck. Nikita. 19 Alphas, 5 Charlies. Your time is 2019. Yep, you're in. Have a nice day.
Load and make ready.
All right. Nikita came in with 5 Charlies on that. I must have not heard the first 2 calls. He had a time of 20.19. He shot that in hit factor of 5.4482.
Hey.
All right, we've got a microphone we just put on Mason Lane. Let's see if Mason's got anything to say. He can't hear me right now, so I'm going to get Max to cue him up.
Am I on? So it's been a just okay day. Did well yesterday and got it to within 30 points at Eric, but today's been just all right. Look at the scores, it looked like he was on the gas all day. So 2 more stages here. There's an option that could be viewed as a bit desperate to jump across the middle, which some people did, which at this point is now compulsory. So I got to try something to try to get close. Probably can't make a gain on this stage, but can at least not bleed more. So watch and learn. This is what not to do in a regular match.
All right. Well, there you heard from Mason himself. Everybody's always chasing somebody. Just setting up the live time here for you guys so you can see this on this stage. This is stage 15. And here we go.
Yeah, the hit on this target right here.
Good eyes. Always want to check those targets if you get a chance. You don't want to be shooting stages with holes in them. It's distracting and it throws you off your game. You start thinking about the other hit instead of thinking about what you should be thinking about.
Load and make it.
All right.
Iron, stand by.
Oh yeah.
Even finish on load. So clear, if clear, camera down. Range is clear. Your time. 1, 6, 8, 9.
So all that theatrics, Eric did it in just under 6.5. Grab my mag here. Which that could have been executed a little more aggressively, but heart.
Listen. Just for the time.
Okay.
Listen to people.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. 1 Charlie, which is good.
And he shot that in a smoking time. 16.89. He had 1 Charlie.
What do we have to
Had a
pay
hit factor of 9.35. And if you're wondering,
16.9. Yeah, that was good. 1 Charlie, that's good. There's that.
Eric Caffell
Yeah,
was
yeah.
almost identical at one.
There's
at
one
9.
target there, that last open.
Yeah.
Dude, I literally got tied up in the wall and I shot one like this and one like this. Like, it was like some John Wick shit around the corner. Yeah. Desperate, dude. How desperate as that is.
That's sexy.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
I thought about it.
Thank you.
All right. Obviously, as we've said many times, this is live. And so when they're wearing microphones, the microphones are live. Just keep your mute button nearby. I try and kill the sound if I think that anyone else is going to say something. But that was awesome hearing Mason.
Load and make ready.
I'll tell you what I really liked about that was hearing Mason's grunting and kind of the noise he makes. And I say that because one of the things that I'm being trained to do is to grunt more on a stage, which forces me to breathe because I have a tendency to hold my breath when I'm shooting, which is fine to some extent if it's a short course, but I find I do it in long courses and stuff as well. So junior shooting, stage 15. I don't have his times. Not sure why. Oh, that's 16. That would explain why I don't have his time. There we go. Sorry about that, young man. Grand Junior, Joachim Jordan. I think it's a silent K. Shot a time of 40.16. Yeah, watching Mason shoot that, listening to Mason shoot that, that was awesome. And his time and Eric's times were basically identical, as was the hit factor. I don't have Eric's score with me, I just have his hit factor, which was 9.44 something, and Mason was what, 9.35. 10th of a hit factor difference. Very good. I'm hearing somebody say, is he on? Nicky has gone and found Eric Rafael's scores. So there they are. This is what Eric shot that in. Well done. 9.44. You see it. Eric had 4 Charlies at a time of 16.10. What was Mason's time?
16.
His time was 16:8.9. So pretty much right the same sort of times, neck and neck. It's pretty amazing to see how close they are and how close they are on times and so forth.
Hold the neck ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm the last shooter.
Stand by. If you are finished, download the show clear. You clear, hammer down, holster. Range is clear. Your time 2787. You're supporting. Good. Oh, man. There's one that will never happen again to you.
Well, I guess we're not playing on Twitch anymore, right? I just got a notification from Twitch to say that we violated their community standards and that they've issued a global suspension. It's a battle, guys and girls, against social media. What we need is you guys to keep sharing, keep liking, keep pushing, and of course, keep following us. Mason Lane is up.
Clear, if you are down, holster, range is clear, time 14:93.
That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. There's gonna be way too many Charlies. Yep.
Your name, score, and time.
What if I don't want to? Yeah, it's a straight up bad way to end the day. No joke.
Yeah, that's a tough way to end the day. Mason came in with 6 Charlies, shot a time of 14.93, hit factor of 3.21. Let's take a look at those scores. And as you could hear, he was not very happy with that. I appreciate Mason still talking to us at the end of a stage. You know, it's really difficult, and I've been there. We all have, when you don't have a solid finish. He had a pretty decent day, as he said earlier on, but it didn't finish as well as he'd wanted. We're pulling up Eric's scores here on that stage. We'll show you here in a second what that looks like. So Eric shot that in 14.44. For a hit factor of 4.01. What was Mason's hit factor on that? Just stand by. Yeah, that's what I thought. 3.2, so 0.8 hit factor back from Eric. Definitely not the way Mason wanted to finish the day.
Pokazywała mi, że sobie wczesne wytyczali lat ja robię Formuły 1 centimeter, no problem. And the field, correct? No? Ohne den Quatsch. Ja. Ready? Stand by.
All right, well, we're very lucky to end the day with Mason Lane joining us. I wasn't sure after his day, he had a little bit of a challenging day, and it's really very nice of you to put your emotions aside and step into the broadcast booth. But we're very honored to have you here. Thank you, Mason.
My pleasure. Hey, if I can't talk now, I definitely can't shoot if I'm spun up, so it's good practice.
I'll let you stick to that. I'm going to turn the sound down on the other stages because it's kind of loud in here. So Mason, you had some really good commentaries today. We appreciate that as well, the way you analyze stages and so forth. But now that you got to the end of the day, what's your feeling on this?
Yeah, the soundbite I took with Max on the field course for today, I think, was a pretty accurate synopsis. I was down 30 points coming into today. Didn't really know how Eric did, but assumed. My bet was that he would shoot angry and shoot very well today to put himself in a position where he doesn't have to make much happen tomorrow. And looking at the scores, that was pretty accurate. He shot really, really well, and I had a bit of an off day, so I mean I needed my best and a little more to hold pace with him to at least put him in a position where he has to do something to get the gap he wants tomorrow, and that simply did not happen. So you saw on the big field course, a bit of a desperate move, you could say. I think some people did that unforced in other divisions earlier in the match, but that's definitely not the kind of option I would typically take, doing a very unconventional stage plan like that. But the math looked like it could be up to a half second faster, so I figured I'd try it.
So you bring in one of my pet subjects. Do we look at scores of what other competitors are doing and use that to determine our game plan? You've been around long enough to know there's people that swear against that, say that's the craziest thing, and yet here you are doing that, and you're a world champion.
Yeah, it's of course, it's only valuable information if you have the skill base to do something with it, and if it's not going to be emotionally damaging in a way that precludes you from shooting well. But on a top level, like most of the guys that are on World Shoot teams, most of them are at least able to be aware of the score and not let it mess with their head, which I think is pretty critical. Even if it's just as simple as, hey, this dude shot a great score, I need to also shoot a great score to not drop back. You know, to me, that's information that you can use to glean a lot of wisdom about how what the potential pitfalls could be, and also where, you know, you need to gas or brake a little bit, so to speak. That's not obviously advisable for your average A-class dude, but definitely very critical on a top level.
You teach a lot as well. You and Kay, your wife, who's sitting, by the way, just next to us over there. You guys teach people pretty much all over the world, right? How do you approach teaching somebody who's kind of like in the middle of our sport? Most of the people here are probably middle people. You know, they're what I would call tier 4 and 5 and 6. Basically, they're like an A-class shooter. They've finally got to the point where they're starting to get some performance in, but now the pressure really hits them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for people that are under M class or so, I generally focus exclusively on skills. You know, we don't talk about that much about strategy in classes because of the fact that usually they can't do that much with that information. So I dive into the mathematics sort of thing we're talking about insofar as understand how to project what a hit factor on a stage is going to be and what the implications are for that as far as the scoring imperative. Like, do I need to be a bit more emphasis on points or a bit more emphasis on speed? Or is there X target difficulty where it doesn't make sense to invest a lot to shoot clean points if the probability is low to begin with? I invite people to think about it that way. But people that are A-class or less, you know, we really just talk about skills. Like, this is what you need to do to improve your grip, improve your trigger pull, improve your vision skills, to be an all-around, you know, more well-rounded shooter. Just do this and do it, focus on it for a year and then come back. That's sort of the focus for lower level guys.
I was going to talk about it during the broadcast, but too much was happening. I didn't get to touch on that. But that one-handed stage that you shot, whenever I see you shooting one-handed, reminds me of something a few years ago. Tell us what happened back then. And
yeah, back in what, I guess 2019? I think it's 2019 or so, right around 2020. I cracked my wrist pretty bad. I cracked my left-hand wrist jumping over a fence 2 weeks before the high cap nationals that year. And it was critical because I tried to dual qualify for the World Shoot team. So I had only shot 2 matches in each respective division for production optics and production. And so I had to go shoot these last 2 nationals and do decently to get a percentage and qualify for the match. So it was a bit nerve-wracking, you could say. But I trained for those 2 weeks and went and shot the Carry Optics Nationals with one hand, with my left hand in a cast, and rinse and repeat did the same thing a few weeks later at Production Nationals. And luckily shot really well, especially at Production Nationals. I was able to qualify for the team.
I remember that, and you and Niels shared the fact that at the World Shoot during qualifying, both of you qualified for 2 different divisions as well, which has never been done.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know how many times these records will actually happen because the depth of the field of competitive shooters is getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'm not going to try that strategy this next time. Maybe with a couple more qualifiers on our side, but it pays to just keep investing and try to get the best score you can, because these days, I mean, a couple percent can absolutely be the difference.
You know, there were a few of us talking about when you broke your arm or broke your hand, whether or not that had something to do with riding.
Yeah.
Because Kay is a farrier, so she's around horses.
Yeah.
You guys often help each other. You know, you're sure there was a fence and not falling off a horse?
Oh,
right?
yeah, I'm 100% positive. There was a pig in heat between me and getting out of there, and I tried to hop the fence, and it didn't work. I got away from the pig, but I broke my hands.
It was animal related.
Yeah.
Pig in heat.
Husbandry problems.
Didn't hear that story. Mason, for the new shooters out there, again, you're an instructor. You teach a lot of people. You see a lot of people. I've never had the privilege of attending one of your classes, although I really would like to. You know, one of my greatest regrets in shooting, and I've been doing this for 30 years, is that I never had training for the first 15 years of my life. I was just not able to do it. I wasn't in an area. So for new people out there that are starting the sport, what would you recommend? Obviously, I'm leaning towards training, but how would you recommend that they approach that?
Yeah, I think people can cultivate a lot of experience on their own without necessarily throwing a bunch of money at someone like me right up front. Like, I think if a person struggles to do the basic marksmanship part right, usually you can figure that out on your own with a little bit of work and a little bit of dry fire, just following the common stuff you see online. But once you get, inevitably, you'll get to a point where it's like, I'm not really sure how to train. And people get to that point really quickly. Like some people are lucky, they get to maybe B class that way. Some people get a little farther. But inevitably, everyone will hit some sort of plateau where you need a little bit more creativity and a little bit more focus to achieve that next level where work ethic alone isn't going to make it happen. And that's when, you know, well-known instructors in the space come in and can streamline that process for people dramatically and ultimately save them a lot of time and money trying to help them focus on their goals and improve quicker.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm going to beg to differ just in the sense that if I look at kids like my son, who was basically grew up around Niels and all of us and so on, he learned the details of the game. You know, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's been a long day. The protocols and I actually think a new shooter should attend training to right off the bat. I mean, yes, it's expensive to come and attend with you, but they're going to burn a lot of ammo learning things the hard way.
Yeah.
And learning the detail of, you know, how to draw, how to pull reloads. I look at some of your reloads. I mean, I was watching Nikita earlier on today. His reload on that one stage, I think that was probably under a second, you know, and I'm sure you didn't learn that overnight, you know?
No.
So from a new shooter's point of view, my recommendation would be you get a trainer as soon as possible, even if it's not necessarily a top-level trainer like you.
Yeah, I can't disagree, really. Yeah.
Let's look at tomorrow. So last day tomorrow, we haven't looked at the score. We haven't looked to see exactly what the points are, but maybe guessing around 35-ish points, maybe, something like that.
Yeah, it was 30 into today, so it's probably going to be opened up to at least 50.
Okay. So how do you approach tomorrow, and what do you do tonight to get ready for tomorrow?
Hang out, probably eat, you know, pork chops in this country, most likely, it seems like, and then hang out and relax and sleep in because we're going to be starting tomorrow where we're finishing today, late in the day. So, I mean, there's not really much to it. The stages are very straightforward. You know, there's no further pep talk needed. Like, I know what to do. It's just we got to go do our best. And at this point, with a 50-point gap, barring some donations from the lead, you can't close 50-point gap in 6 stages, especially not in IPSC format where it's less points available per stage. So, you know, barring some kind of donation, fighting for second place at that point, and that is what it is. Eric's a good guy to take second place to, for sure.
You wouldn't be the first.
Not even close, no.
I want to talk real briefly about your World Championship last year. You went out to South Africa. You were a man on mission. I remember seeing you. You had a different look to you last year. You have kind of a funny side to you, joking around side. You didn't have any of that out there, I noticed. You were all business.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that was, I trained very, very hard for that match. I took on a sort of a new training schedule, if you will, last year where I picked a target event and started prepping for it 3 months prior. And so I sort of did hash the system out for the production nationals last year. And it was truly daily with just a couple exceptions, live fire, usually twice a day for 3 months prior to that match. And I won the match. So I was like, well, who am I to argue with results? We're going to do that again for World Shoot. So all in, roughly 6 months of near daily, sometimes 2 a day live fire training for that. Which, I mean, you know, everyone watching at home is like, oh my God, your job's so hard. You get to shoot every day. It's like, yeah, it stops being fun after a certain amount of time. It does become work. And, you know, the reward is that when it works, you can see skill gains and you feel more prepared. And it's a fulfilling thing. It's not an inherently just yanking the trigger fun kind of a thing. So, yeah, I mean, I worked really, really hard to be prepared for that match. At that point in the year when the World Shoot came up, I had beaten everyone I was competing against at some point that year. So I knew, depending on the flavor of the match, I knew that it would be possible to win. And so I just went and tried my best and in that case of that match, had a rough day one and bounced back and just crawled back 15 points at a time day by day and pulled 20 or so point lead by the end, which was great. At the time, I did not think I won. My math was very much off with the delay, with my rough hand math on the scoring. And I didn't think I had won until a couple hours later after the leaderboard hadn't changed, if you will. And I got a bunch of grief from my friends about that.
That's
that I'm bad at math.
Yeah. That is scary. I mean, as we get better, and we have a system that we're working on now that's going to be able to track this much more carefully so that we can literally tell maybe even a stage or two before the end of the match where we are, you know. And that's obviously being developed for broadcast because I can't sit here now and speculate on it because I've been wrong. I've been right and I've been wrong, you know. But if you take some matches that have come down, David Savagny and Niels, remember the Nationals in Florida? came down to a stage being thrown out overnight.
Yeah.
And the stage results switched or something to that
Right.
effect. It's getting tighter and tighter as the field gets deeper, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, listen, thanks for stopping in. I know you're hungry. You're going to have some of the pork chops. They got
That's
good
right.
food in this country, that's for sure.
Certainly, yes.
Yeah, I think I've eaten steak every night that I've been here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, never
Why
mind.
wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Thanks to you and to Kay for coming out here. Always good people, and I love seeing you guys shoot out here. You're living the dream, traveling together and seeing the world, and you know, having
lucky.
your fans follow you around the range.
We're quite lucky.
Been quite an amazing range. Is this your first time here?
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, the turf is incredible.
Talk about that just really quick. I know we said we were wrapping up, but
yeah, I mean, it sounds like such a simple thing, but you've seen, if you're watching any of the videos, you see there's AstroTurf on all the bays, where it's a perfectly consistent footing on every stage, and like I've been unable to slip on it. I've been unable to dig in too hard on it. You know, I heard a couple people say it's kind of grabby. I found it to be perfect, and especially in the case of a lot of stages where you double cross ground, where everyone comes in and out and has to put their foot like not here but here, and then within the exact same like 1 foot area. On dirt, even within a squad, that'll start to get wallered out, and without maintenance from who's ever standing there watching it, it does create an equity problem where one person by the end of the squad has to be much more careful as far as how they enter than the guy that starts off, and that is completely negated here. And it's like it sounds like a simple luxury, but it's an unbelievable luxury to have perfect consistency where it's going to be exactly the way you expect.
And we had a significant rainstorm last night too. I mean, we had hail and rain, wind. I got here just after 5 this morning, literally expecting chaos, and they had no power. I don't know if you guys even knew that.
Yeah.
I was walking around trying to find somebody to turn the power on so we could boot up our system. And when I looked at the stages, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's no damage. There's no, the wind didn't destroy walls. I mean, they really did a good job.
Absolutely.
And that equity work, that equity word that you used is incredibly important in our game.
Yeah, I mean, like we score targets. We're so nitpicky about it that we get a clear card out to nitpick 1 millimeter this way or that if a hole is touching a line or not. So when if it's left to the breeze and we're rebuilding stages overnight because there's storm damage or because we flooded and now we have dirt that we got to rake all around, like it's a little bit silly for us to be that particular about a hit this way or that, and then have totally different footing squad by squad. This is a really, really nice experience in that way.
Mason, thank you again. Appreciate you joining us. And you want to wrap us up for the day and say, welcome to.
What do I say? Do I break the third wall and look in the camera and say,
you
tag
do
it
that?
off?
You can look at that camera and say, we're going to time out. Thank you for joining, and give thanks. You can thank your sponsors if you like, or whatever.
All right, guys. I've been shooting optics with the P211 GT5 this match. It is the most cost-competitive 2011 and the most reliable 2011 in the market. How's that?
That's perfect.
All right, thanks for tuning in.
We will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is our last day of the match. We're going to be here from probably early morning through till mid-afternoon, late afternoon, and we'll see what happens to tomorrow. And I don't think it's as far away from as what Mason thinks. I mean, there's things that go wrong. Anything could happen. We obviously don't want people to have issues, but anything could happen. So tune in tomorrow, and we'll see you all. Hit that button below the red.